Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, around the world? Welcome back to another Neverwinter discussion video. And today I have Jay with me yet again. Jay, introduce yourself. What's going on, man?
Hello, again, me. I'm Jay. I do YouTube stuff and Reddit stuff for Neverwinter. I don't know
I
how to
hope
better describe it.
I hope they know that you do that you do Neverwinter stuff. If they don't know, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah, also, I wouldn't be much of use in this podcast if I wouldn't do stuff
That's
with Neverwinter.
that's true. Are you actually still with Machinima
Yes, I
doing the
am.
Machinima videos? Ooh,
Yes,
nice, nice.
that was a huge
Uh,
break because the demo tool was bugged, but it is fixed again.
oh, it's fixed now?
Yes, it is fixed.
Ooh, that's good. That's really good news.
Yes, and I would also at this point give a shout out to. Hold on, I've written it down. First of all, to Termac, who's a live producer on the Cryptic Neverwinter team, for the communication and the fast answers to all the issues I had. And for the fixes specifically, I hope I can pronounce it correctly, Sironius Rex, who is a developer for the Star Trek Online team, actually, because they had the same problems because it's the same engine, and he fixed a lot of the bugs for the demo tool, and it is fixed again, so we can do videos of it again.
Hey, that's good. That means we're gonna be getting a lot more of those awesome videos that you produce.
Yeah.
I can't do anything like that. I'm terrible at it, but I'm gonna try one day. Probably won't be as good as you, but it doesn't hurt to try.
Also, console doesn't have the demo tool, sadly.
That's true. Damn, I wish we had the demo tool.
Yes, it is amazing.
I mean, our UI is just extremely large, anyways. It's too big. But anyways, today we are going to be talking about two potential classes that are going to be coming into Neverwinter. Previously, we talked about the Bard, but today we are going to be talking about the Bard and the Monk class. Two of my favorite classes. Well, the Monk is actually my favorite over the Bard, but which one is your favorite, though?
Also the monk.
The Monk, yeah, I think a lot of people would prefer the Monk over the Bard. But since they're getting rid of that 2 DC meta coming in Mod 13, I think the Monk, or not the Monk, the Bard is going to be more likely to come with the introduction of Mod 13.
Yeah, as a support class, I can see that. So, the last time we talked about the Druid, and we thought about ways, okay, to bring the class from Dungeons and Dragons, which the game is heavily based on, into Neverwinter. And I'm most excited for the monk actually because the monk in D&D uses a unique resource that no other class does. So
What's
there,
that resource?
it's a key.
Key. Oh, obviously.
Yeah, essentially the monk has a certain amount of resource per day, like key points they can spend to do extra cool stuff, like do an extra attack, stun on attack, do an extra jump, like double that jump distance, and crazy shit like that. So I think that would be most beneficial to the game because we need something unique in a new class, I think.
How do you think the key would actually be used? Because what we have we have our stamina. So would the key be replaced as stamina, or would stamina replace as key, vice versa?
I don't think that they would do that, but yeah, the problem is in D&D you just regain resources every day. So because the combat is much slower than an online game, it's not a problem because you can just okay, let's do a short rest. But in Neverwinter you can't just go to a campfire and do what would
Regenerate your
yeah
key.
would be in D&D the short rest or long rest. Um, so uh, I guess they will have to give the monk ways to give him back the resources. Like, okay, if you let's say if you crit or if you do a combo or whatever, you get resource back. I something like that.
That would be pretty interesting to do. Well, we don't. I guess combos are sort of like your rotation. So maybe for completing one full rotation could grant you 3/4 or like half of your key back.
Oh yeah, especially like successfully landing stuff. So I could think of a way they say similar to the soul sparks of the Scorch Warlock Soulbinder, where you constantly build up and use the resource as you play with the monk's combat patterns. Because that's the second part I'm really excited about because the monk can do an extra attack after hitting with a quarterstaff or a weapon, and do an unarmed attack like a kick or a punch. So I could see a really interesting combat pattern emerge where you just switch between weapon hits and unarmed attacks really fast.
Would those combos and weapon attacks come from like feats or like actual encounters? Like, would one encounter be a sequence of skills, or would it come from what do you think it would come from though?
I think it would come from combining encounters, like different encounters.
Combining encounters.
So let's say your first at will is the staff attack. Okay, you bonk someone over the head with a staff, and then your second at will is the unarmed attack. So you always have a pattern of, well, you switch between those two, and then you can fill in gaps or like expend like your encounter cooldowns for cool shit. Like, okay, flurry of blows, get an extra attack. In Neverwinter, that would be maybe increase attack speed, animations, whatever, or a stunning strike, or you can leap to a target, or whatever. Like, I think there's so much cool shit they can do.
Would you get the staff? Because I like staffs. I don't know. The monk on Skyforge, it has a staff, and I don't know. I just think monks should always have a staff regardless of level. But correct me if I'm wrong. In D&D, when you have a monk, what level exactly do you get your staff, or is it just right off the bat?
You get your staff right level 1. I mean, level 1 it will just be a wooden stick essentially. Like, you found this in the woods.
But yes,
and like,
the wooden stick.
Yeah, like carved it out of a tree or whatever, and it won't be exactly. It's a stick. Yeah, you hit people with it, but later on you can get like crazy with the staffs. So I think that will probably be the primary weapon that we will see for a monk.
I think if we do actually get a monk, there could be a new type of weapon enchantment that goes along with it. Or even if they introduce the monk or the bard, a new weapon enchantment should come along just to, I guess, level the playing field with all the weapon enchantments, because the meta right now pretty much is for AoE lightning, for single target either the bile or the terror. For support, it's like the frost or the holy avenger. So I feel like, there needs to be something in the middle, maybe just to even out the playing field. Because for the monk, you could, again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know that much about the monk, but they're more single target than they are AoE. They do have AoE abilities, right?
I actually don't know if they have much AoE. I think the thing is they can do a lot of attacks. So
yeah, a lot.
When like paladin or even let's say a ranger or so can do 2 attacks per turn, which is usual, the monk can expend key points to do 4 attacks, for example, like 1 quarterstaff attack, spend a key point, and then do an unarmed attack. So but I don't think the monk has much AoE, unless I'm missing something. The monk has a lot of attacks, but all of them single targets, so I don't think he will be much of an AoE clearer.
Yeah, I feel like he would, because they have simple weapons and just like staffs and everything like that. They are very acrobatic too.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things I want them to do properly. Like yeah, let us jump around. Let us do some flips. That has to
just
be
jumping over bosses.
Oh yeah,
jumping over Jufy, slapping her with the stick on the head.
There could be so many cool things. One more thing of the monk, I should say rather, is they are surprisingly good at survival.
You think so?
Yeah, they have ways of increasing like unarmed defense, increasing their wait, let me actually look it up. So unarmed defense and defense, they don't wear armor. They usually wear like cloth or leather, I think. And but they have ways of dodging. They have ways of like getting certain reductions and increasing their armor class in D&D beyond what a usual wearer of just cloth armor should have, because they're so dexterous. They can again jump around. So
yeah, would they only be fighting with their because with a monk, you have you have like martial arts ability, so you can. I feel like we talked about it before on the first podcast where there's different stances. So maybe for the monk, they could possibly have two stances, one for using the staff or another one for using hand-to-hand combat. Or it can just be, like what you said earlier with the at wills, when you're using your at wills, you use your staff, or if you're using certain encounter powers, then you can use your staff or your hand-to-hand combat abilities.
I can see them giving us, okay, you get like three different staff attacks. You get like two different unarmed attacks, like let's say kick or a punch. I don't know. Um, I think they will for this one keep with like one stance and then just vary it because like by your choices. So okay, let's say this one's a short leap with your staff, like the guardian fighter can do in I don't know what's it like in that one path. So just give it. But I hope then it does not turn into a second grade weapon fighter where your encounters are just there to empower your at-wills, because that would be boring.
Yeah, I don't want another repeat of the Great Weapon Fighter. I mean, I enjoy the class. I personally don't play it anymore, but I don't know. I just don't like the class. And I don't want to see them make, a monk and then pretty much it just be a reskinned Great Weapon Fighter.
Yeah,
I feel like that would just be a waste of resources.
Yeah, because the monk can do so many cool stuff. So also in Dungeons and Dragons, the monk can be surprisingly okay. So one of the feats or like a core aspects of the monk is they're extremely will strong. So they they have a lot.
So they're durable.
Yeah, they're durable. Not only like they're dexterous and can dodge stuff, but they're not easily frightened. They're not easily manipulated because they have because they spend so much time in meditation essentially that they are it's called like something like stillness of mind or
stillness of mind. At level 7, you can use your action to end one effort on yourself that is causing you to be charmed or frightened.
yes, for example. Like things like that.
Now, because so could that maybe quite possibly lead the monks to being some sort of low level tank? Because if they're durable and they can take that damage and they are not frightened and they can't be stunned or, whatever all the other crap is inside Tomb of the Nine Gods that makes you get charmed and loving them and whatnot. That could be good, instead of bringing in a paladin, you can just bring in a monk and just go at it.
I could see them.
That would be awesome.
I could see them giving the monk an ability that lets him shrug off crowd control, like certain aspects of crowd control, like stuns, charms, frightens, and stuff.
Well, they would have to fix crowd control first because the control wizards have no crowd control.
Well,
at all.
Well, yeah, I wasn't talking about PvP. Like when mobs try to stun you, like okay, so then the monk can shrug it off. Like I could see them do that, and yeah, if they bring out a monk, I could see them bring out a tank path because, like feat path, like. What else are you gonna do? Okay, let's say you have a feat path that only focuses on your martial arts. Let's say you have like damage DPS. Okay, then you have a feat path that gives you survivability, so you can actually tank with the monk.
Okay.
What's
the third path?
Yeah, what else is there? Mobility focused, maybe. I don't know.
Or you know how we were talking about earlier with the AOE's, maybe
one path fire AOE and one path single. That could I could see that.
It could possibly work. And I mean, I'm reading here right now. They have the ability Empty Body, and they can become invisible for about a minute. So maybe they could have some abilities. Like, are monks as versatile as other classes? Where like as bards, you can have spells from other classes.
And
with the monk,
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
That's actually one of the things. In terms of spells, the monk does not have access to that many spells, like classic D&D spells. It's a lot of let's say class features, a lot of tradition features, which is the customization path. Like the monk, like let's say the bard has colleges. The
Yeah, what
What
does the
would
monk have?
the monk has monastic traditions. So
Okay.
essentially, in which monastery you were training, like where you received your training, you can decide for a path, like for a way. So in the player's handbook, D&D fifth edition, the first path is Way of the Open Hand, which is quite heavily focused on martial arts, like your unarmed attacks, essentially.
Okay. And then you would just be proficient in just those attacks.
Yes, get a lot of bonuses to those attacks, get a lot of combat survivability, and get something that's called Quivering Palm at 17th level. That, to me, when I read this shit, it's incredible.
What is
Essentially,
it called?
a Quivering Palm.
Quivering palm.
So at 17th level, which is quite high, like, well, yeah, 20th level is maximum D&D,
Hmm.
they can spend key points to start sort of vibrations in an enemy. And if that enemy fails a Constitution saving throw, um, okay, so essentially the vibrations themselves are not harmful, but the monk can use an action to end those vibrations and then inflict massive damage on that creature. So if they do a con save, they take a lot of damage, like something that should kill or almost kill a high level player. And if they fail, they just die. They get reduced to 0 hit
Oh.
points.
Ugh.
So
So if the monk fails, then he gets reduced to
no,
zero
no,
hit
no.
points.
If the target fails a con
Oh, okay,
save,
okay. So if the target fails, okay.
so
That's
this is like similar to the Shadow of Demise from the Trickster Rogue Executioner path. Essentially, you hit the guy, and then after a time, he takes a massive amount of damage.
okay. That's actually I would actually like to see that. I feel like that could work.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like that could
mean,
work.
we already kind of have that with Shadow of Demise again, but it's one of the things they could do. That would, by the way, be the final feature, the final bonus you get from the Way of the Open Hand.
Like the final not paragon path feat, like the final feat, like how you have assailant and
Yes,
chaos magic,
yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
similar like that. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
Another. Okay, so that would be, let's say in Neverwinter, the Way of the Open Hand would be a paragon path.
Okay.
So
Huh.
let's say, yeah, because that's the problem. Neverwinter is based off fourth edition, which makes this whole thing kind of weird because you have to mix certain things because they are called differently in fifth edition. So the other path I'm really excited about if they bring it in is the Way of the Shadows, because that shit's crazy.
With Way of the Shadows, just going off by the name, that is more a defense tactic.
It has a lot more utility. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not just like the full front martial arts kind of guy. It's it gives you some mobility. It gives you some way to deflect certain attacks, um, which is I think a lot more interesting because I want to see them. I want to see them do this because the Way of the Shadows can actually manipulate shadow and has advantage when they are in darkness, essentially. So
So they can manipulate other enemies.
yes,
Oh, damn. See, I want that so bad. I thought the control wizard was gonna have that, but they don't have anything, any taunts or any manipulative abilities, and they don't have that. So if the monk has that, that would probably be my
so
main
the Way of the
class.
Shadows monk, for example, has Shadow Step, where they can jump out of shadow
Doesn't the
somewhere.
Scourge Warlock already have that shadow step?
That's Shadow Slip. That's the sprint.
Oh, shadow
So
slip. Okay.
yeah, Shadow Step is, I think it's called, where they can just, if they are in shadow, they can jump somewhere, like teleport a short distance, like quickly jump
Mhm.
somewhere, and then the next attack would have advantage. So
Ooh. Okay.
I can see the Way of the Shadow Monk have much more mobility.
All right. But the monks, they do have the ability to use like the four elements, right? Like fire, wind, earth, and
I don't think that's a thing.
right
In D&D, I don't know. I think the elemental stuff is more for the wizards. Like they have a
for
lot
the
of
wizard.
they have a lot of fire damage. They can do cold spells, or I don't know.
Okay. Because I don't know, for some reason I mean, hold on, because I'm reading here that the Way of the Four Elements, they have uh what is that? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Oh no, because they have fangs, fangs of the fire snake, and then they have water whip, and they have Way of the Drunken Master.
Oh,
Really?
that's an interesting one too. The
Really?
Way of the Drunken Master. So,
Okay.
which would be another option for a Paragon path, because if they bring out a monk, I think one of them will certainly be the Way of the Open Hand, because it's the like most classic like martial arts monk stuff. The Way of the
Yeah.
Drunken Master is kind of funny because it brings a lot of controlled chaos to the battlefield, to the point where you try to make, like, if you don't know what's going on, the enemy does not know what's going on either. So the Way of the Drunken Master has actually ways to impose disadvantage to attacks, to the point where enemies start hitting each other.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Like it's
That is so perfect.
it's the Jackie Chan movie monk, essentially, like, who just stumbles across the battlefield, and because he's drunk, he's actually dodging stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, I think they actually did that in Star Wars too, with what's his name? I don't know. Jar Jar Binks. Yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
that
I mean,
yeah, where he stumbled. Yeah,
the whole
okay.
theory of him being the what's his name, Snoke, and I don't know. I don't even know. I should actually go see that movie. But anyways,
please no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. Please no.
I haven't seen
No
it. I'm not gonna
spoilers.
spoil it. But they also have, so they have Way of the Drunken Master. They have Way of the Kensei. They have Way of the Tranquility,
Oh, I don't
and
know
they
those
have
ones.
Way of the Sun Soul. These, I mean, Way of the Sun Soul and Way of the Kensei and Way of the Drunken Master. Those are from Xander's Guide to Everything.
Oh yeah,
So
they're
that
the
was
new ones.
recently
Yeah,
just
they're
came
the new
out.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have Way of the Tranquility, which was from the Unearthed Arcana. And then they have Way of the Long Death, which I believe
What the hell?
that might have been like way back then. But those could also, I mean, those could be potential paths for Paragon paths, but
yes.
we only have 3. We only have 3. So I would
Two.
believe
We
it
have
would
two
be
Paragon
the,
paths.
oh my God, I'm saying Paragon paths. I meant feet paths.
Okay. So those are probably like Way of the Open Hand and Way of the Shadows and everything. Those are probably Paragon paths, because those are subclasses in D&D 5th edition, and they are basically the new Paragon paths of the 4th edition. So we can expect those to be the Paragon paths if they go by Dungeons and Dragons.
Would there be any like minor mechanics?
Oh yeah,
Like
certainly.
Smolder and
Oh,
Rimfire?
they could do that's actually what I want them to do. Like, okay, you see all of the stuff in like, you read the D&D class itself, and yeah, okay, fine, you could see certain features being copied directly, but there's so much they can actually do. If you have like a monk using shadow, there's so much they can do with class mechanics and minor mechanics. I want them to be creative on this one.
Good. If they actually do this, I don't know. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be so happy. I mean, we really don't even know anything about Mod13 right now. Not a damn thing except for the Scored Warlock changes. That's pretty much it, right?
Well, yeah. So that's the only thing I think that was officially confirmed. Thomas Foss also kind of slipped and told us there would be a trial in that one maintenance stream, but
He said a trial. Did he say multiple trials, or is that just a trial?
I think word by word what he said is you can queue into the trial from the dungeon. So
okay, so there's a dungeon and there's a trial.
Take that however you want it to. It could be you can queue from Tomb of the Nine Gods into the trial, or it's a new dungeon, so you can queue into the trial.
If it's a new dungeon, I want to fight Valindra. You guys already know that. I want to fight Valindra again.
Yeah, that would be
okay. Maybe she can be the first boss, and then the King of Spines can be the second boss.
She's not a first boss, man. She should be the end boss, because fucking Valindra.
I know, but we already had her mechanics, though. We already know her. If she's gonna be a last boss, then she has to have new mechanics.
Oh yeah,
not the same mechanics we have in Valindra's Tower.
100%.
That would just be dumb. Dumb.
So
Brickus has brand new mechanics.
Yeah, in D&D, Valindra is a lich. So, and she has access to a whole lot of whole array of spells. Essentially, in the boss fight in Valindra's Tower, she chose to use some of them, but she could use potentially much more, like many more mechanics, like many more
They
spells.
should give her a mechanic where she like manipulates the person with the most aggro and then has him like attack the teammates.
I thought that would be really funny to do. Let's say they bring out a vampire at some point as a boss, like a proper vampire, and he bites someone, and if that person then dies, and like properly dies, then they get resurrected as a vampire spawn, and they start attacking other players as an AI. But with that,
and they only have
with that guy's stats, like
ooh,
that could be. I think it could be fun. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
there's so much creativity in D&D
like,
that is not used in Neverwinter at all, which is kind of sad.
it is. There's so much that they can. I feel like what they need to do is they just need to have like an open forum page, open Reddit page, an open stream where it's just like, give us all your ideas, give us everything that you guys want in the next coming year for Neverwinter, and we will try our best to get this in the game for you guys. Because they're not using, I mean, personally, I think they're not using a lot of their resource and a lot of the, I mean, I know a lot of it has to come from Wizards of the Coast and what they're allowed to use and what they're not allowed to use. But I feel like if they just open that door just a little bit, just a little bit more, this game could be the best free-to-play MMORPG on PC and on console.
The combat system certainly is one of the best, like the
It
best
is one
one
of the
that
best.
I've ever seen. Ever played. It's, to me, it's the really fluent and everything, and they could do so much stuff with it. Yeah, and if they stay true to D&D, I don't think Wizards of the Coast having a problem really with them.
I feel like it would just make people. I think it would boost. I don't think it would negatively impact Wizards of the
Oh,
Coast.
certainly not. No.
I think it would draw more people in.
Yeah, because right now it's just the game is just a question of, okay, can you survive and can you do enough damage? So the only thing that you really need, like things that let you do more damage, things that let you survive to a certain degree. And if you reach the cap of I can survive, then well, yeah, then the rest you do is just do more damage. You know? Okay, so the paladin has enough to survive. Okay, well then unslot one of the powers that let you survive, like give another buff. Yeah, that's how the game works at the moment. And there could be so much with mobility, with crowd control, like one of the more obvious ones, but also so much more in other ways. From the basics, like from the
Do you think it would
from D&D that they could use?
Do you think it would compete with the Great Weapon Fighter and the Trickster Rogue at single target damage? Which one out of those three, the Monk, would be the highest single target DPS? If we had a Monk coming in Mod13 and they did everything, I guess, quote unquote, the right way.
Yeah.
Which class? How would you list the classes as the top, the middle, the worst for single target out of the Trickster Rogue, the Great Weapon Fighter, and the Monk?
The Monk can do some serious damage. I always thought of the Trickster Rogue. Okay, he's in judging from a D&D point of view, in a long extended fight in pure DPS, I think Monk and Great Weapon Fighter would come really close to each other. Monk probably slightly less because they have a bit more utility.
Yeah,
they certainly have more utility, but the Trickster Rogue should the Rogue should win in like burst damage and target access, because the class.
I feel like the Trickster Rogue should have been more of like I don't want to say like a controller type of class, but being able to control smaller enemies.
Yeah, and also just hop around to like hide, then attack from the shadows and everything.
Squirrel.
But
grasshoppers hopping everywhere.
So if I would say in D&D in Neverwinter, in the current meta, the Monk would certainly be should be a top contender for single target DPS. Let's put it that way.
Because see everybody using them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, what? Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I thought the connection was interrupted for some reason.
I don't know.
Like, one of the things that we haven't touched yet on the monk is stunning strike, which is, some people say it's boring, but it's one of the key features. Key. Wow.
Stunning strike.
Yeah, stunning strike. You can expend a key point to make, essentially force, if you hit with an attack, force your opponent to do a con save. Otherwise they're stunned for a whole turn, like for a whole round. In Neverwinter, that would be just, I could just see them, okay, give us an encounter that lets you stun. Like, it's a single target stun. It's not that interesting, but the monk does have certain ways of crowd control, certain ways of mobility and everything that I could see them becoming an interesting class.
Do you think the monk would have abilities to? I know a lot of bosses. I mean, every boss in Neverwinter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they cannot be stunned or interrupted. I mean, except when they had that geese problem. But besides that, does the monk have any abilities to, have that effect on bosses?
So the way I see they translated the D&D system over to Neverwinter is essentially the boss would always make that con save.
Okay.
So because, well, I don't think they can give a class an ability that would actually let them stun a boss. Essentially not stunning strike, because that's on that has no cooldown. It can proc on every attack in D&D. So they can do it multiple times per round. So I don't think they should. Maybe not a different ability, but not this one. 100% not this one.
It's an amazing class, though. It's an amazing class. I'm surprised it wasn't even in the game from the start. Like, what was? Did we had all the? Oh no, what did we had the Paladin was the most recent class that was introduced, like during mod 6. And where are we at? We're like 7 mods later and still not another class.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean, story wise, continuing the story from where we are, I don't think the monk, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I don't think the monk would be the next class to come story wise. I don't see them in a story right now. I don't see how they could introduce them into the story. It's not like they take everything legit from the story and make it fit perfectly like a puzzle. But I don't know, because I know that what's his name, Dragonbaits and Artists are heading back to Waterdeep, and isn't Waterdeep the home of the colleges of the Bard? So wouldn't the Bard make more sense?
They're heading home to Waterdeep. In the Tomb of Annihilation.
That's what they were sent to. They were sent to Schultz by oh my gosh, what's her name? She's cursed by the death curse.
Oh,
and
there's one noble is it's one of the adventure hooks to get players into Tomb of Annihilation. Essentially, the one that Neverwinter chose. Okay, there's a noble guy, and they want to be healed, essentially, and they want you to defeat the death curse. Yes, I think Arthur Simber has his own motivation to actually travel. Let me look it up.
Because that could actually lead into, God, I don't want to go back to the Sea of Moving Ice. That could actually lead back to going back to Drewfeed to get the Ring of Winter. Because that was actually supposed to be an artifact. I was hoping it was going to be an artifact. It's not an artifact in the game. In Neverwinter. It is in D&D, but it's not in Neverwinter.
Yeah, it is in D&D, and it would be inappropriately powerful. Like, that's a legendary item that it's incredible. So, well, technically it's Orcus 1, but whatever.
We're not gonna get that.
Yeah, they kind of lose with the stuff in here. Artis actually has the Ring of Winter in the Tomb of Annihilation storyline.
He has it now?
Yeah, he has it. He took it off of the Frost Giants who stole it from him, I think. And he is traveling to Charles because I think he has his own motivation.
Wasn't he traveling with? I'm like 66% sure he was traveling with Dragonbait. Hold on.
So
hold on.
Dragon. Okay,
I have
so
it.
Dragonbait, for everybody who does not know, is one of the guides in the Tomb of Annihilation storyline. He's supposed to be one of the guys who helps you travel Chult. Neverwinter did not utilize the guide system, so
they could have.
so Dragonbait didn't show up. So I think Artus has his own motivation.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
He has a love interest, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so here it is. Artist Cimber is traveling with Dragonbait. They're searching for
Oralunga, yes.
In Port Nyanzaru.
In Chult, yes. You in the storyline you meet them in Port Nyanzaru, and Oralunga is one of the forgotten cities. Like one
Artist is reluctant to leave. Okay, so he's not even saying why he's exploring Chult, so it's a secret right now.
He does not. Well, if you would meet him, he wouldn't tell you. Essentially,
yeah.
So Artus has spent. Okay, I love him.
Because you encounter Artis and Dragonbait at Camp Righteous, Heart of Utao, Cursable, Oralunga, and that's about it.
So, oh yeah, okay, I see. I now have it. Okay, he is waiting. He's trying to reunite with his love interest, which is Alessandra.
Okay. Ooh.
I think his
Artis is.
And I think even she's dead.
Maybe that's why he wants.
Yeah.
Because maybe he can revive them with.
Yes. Yeah. I think he's trying to find a way to get her resurrected, and he can't do it because the death curse is active. So he is traveling to Chult, with a friend of his, Dragonbait, and who's a guide in Chult, and they are trying to find a city called Oralunga, where I think they're trying to find someone who would be able to help them. Oralunga is one of the cities that got overrun with undead, essentially. So in the Tomb of Annihilation storyline, the civilization is being pushed back to Port Nyanzaru because all the other cities just got overrun by a huge army of undead. Which we see roaming around in the jungle in Neverwinter. Yeah. So Oralunga could be one of the places I could see them use as an adventure map or a small zone for Mod13. Because
maybe like Mod13B.
Because it has a lot of interesting stuff in it. But the main point that we will see in Mod13 probably is this lost city of Omu, where actually the Soulmonger is.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Yeah. That makes the most sense. The lost city of Omu.
Yes.
I mean, it would have to be because even at PAX, Chris Perkins left off with sending them to the lost city of Omu, and then you have Force Grey, who is in the lost city of Omu.
Yeah, it's essentially the finale of the Tomb of Annihilation storyline. You go to Omu and you go into the tomb,
and then we don't know what happens after that.
Well, you try to destroy the Soulmonger. And
yeah, but we don't want any spoilers.
Let's see.
I think we know. I think we know what happens after. I'm just more so at the end of it. I either want to fight a Sararak. Or I want to have a Sararak fail, and though he fails, I want the door to Dendar the Night Serpent to open up, where from continuing on in every zone, it's like it's completely dark because Dendar eats the sun and there's nothing else for us to see. I don't want it to be completely dark, but I feel like they could build a lot for that story and continuing with Dendar. Even though there isn't a lot of lore in Dendar, I feel like they could do stuff with him.
That could be a really fun hook. For everybody who doesn't know, Dendar the Night Serpent is the god of the Yuan Ti, like the snake people that we see all over the Soshinstar River. So they essentially they try to bring back a really old god. Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna cut this part.
Yeah, sure.
Don't worry. Okay, I'm back. So somebody just delivered wine to my house.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, did you order any?
I didn't order any,
Okay, that's weird.
but it has my name on it, so fuck it.
What?
Yeah, might have been from my parents or my sister or something.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the Christmas gift.
Oh, well, yeah.
But anyways, Dendar. What were you saying about Dendar?
Yes. Dendar the Night Serpent is the god of the UNT, and they want to bring him back into the world. And it is said that once Dendar the Night Serpent comes back, well, he's a giant snake, if you couldn't tell already. He would rise up and swallow the sun. So
don't we have a little pictures? Not pictures, but don't we have? Is there a statue or like a figure of him somewhere in Schult, in the jungles of Schult, in Neverwinter?
I don't think so. I don't think
over where we fight Bacho or Bacho, because that's where he is, right? He would have to be on that side of the jungles of Schult because that's where the Wanties are.
I can't tell at the moment. I don't have it in my memory, but they did not Cryptic did not give us much information about Dendar the Night Serpent, I think, or about actually Razanisi in general, which really surprised me.
Me too. I was like, really? You're not gonna tell anybody? There's no lore. Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if I actually go into my lore in the game, I don't think there's anything in there about Razanisi or Dendar. There's a little bit about Acererak, but nothing about Razanisi. Close to nothing, maybe. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong.
We have conventions and everything, like the Merchant Princess Port Anzaro, but no.
Is there anything from Swords? What's 12B called? I don't know what it's called.
No, there's is there anything? No. It's that's not much in there. It's not really a story update. Essentially, the only thing new for Chult is the Merchant Prince skirmish.
Oh no. I'm not even really excited for 12B. To be completely honest, I'm really not even excited. I mean, because I was actually taking what you said into consideration about not even rushing the enchantments to 13 and 14 because there's no content that requires it. And until they give us information about Mod 13, then you'll see if it's actually worth it to do it. I mean, eventually we're going to have to, but I don't want to rush and stress about it.
Yeah, I would bring the enchantments to 13 and then just chill out. Just look what happens on PC.
Like, I actually have to do something for the Winter Festival. I got to get some more preservation awards.
Oh yeah, I would like to touch that later when we get to 12B, the refinement system, because there's actually something you can do with the Winter Festival. But for now, let's focus on the Mod 13. So I don't think they will do anything with Dendar the Night Serpent, although that could be amazing. Well, maybe they will now do something with it in Mod 13. But
if we're closing off the story,
I want them to, I want them to give us if they give us a trial, I want to give us a trial against Acererak or against the Soulmonger itself, well, the Atropal. There has to be some sort of finality to this, because Neverwinter itself has to conclude the storyline where everybody is no longer dying because the death curse has been beaten.
But how long do you think that they could actually, bring this story of Acererak out? They could bring it out pretty. I think they can bring it out pretty long. Well, but it depends on the content that they provide with the story to keep it going.
Yeah. So here's my prediction: they will give us a new adventure zone, similar to the Source River. It will be the city of Omu, and they will give us new hunts, give us new patrol quests, and they will maybe give us a new dungeon, which is another part of the Tomb of the Nine Gods, essentially, because that one's massive. It's a huge underground system that goes on for miles and everything.
Should be the main entrance though, because that's where it is.
Yeah. The main entrance is in Omo. Yeah, and that should be they should lead us through the official entrance, and then I could then bring us a trial, maybe in 13B or in 13 itself, where you actually fight a Sararek or the Stonemonger or both. Would be fun.
Do you think that they should leave the fight with a Sararek for a half module? If they, because the half modules are usually like quality of life.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like Mod 10 and 10B here, where they gave us Fangbreaker and then another zone and then Bloodborg. But
true.
But yeah, I'm also hoping for, okay, let's give us a new dungeon and the new trial in 13, Mod 13 itself, because just a new zone is kind of lame.
Yeah, that is very lame.
I mean, they now have all of the assets. They have had to create a lot of new assets for Mod 12 because they didn't have anything for the jungle really. But I now feel that they can use so much stuff from Mod 12 because we're still in Child. That we should see more than just one piece of endgame content in a module. Like that would just be really cheap.
Yeah, I mean, plus we have the other dinosaur, the not the King of Spines, but the dinosaur that actually has zombies as like its tongue and it's just coming out of its mouth basically.
Yeah.
They're the people that he's eaten and they just keep coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would actually work as a boss.
It's a T-Rex filled with zombies. Yeah, we haven't seen that one. That also surprised me. We haven't seen that one yet.
I think it would be pretty awesome. Damn, there's so much like, I really like. I'm just, damn. There's so much they should just let us give them the ideas and just bring it to life.
Yeah, I also don't think they, like, I don't think they don't have the ideas. I just don't think they have enough time and resources because they're a relatively small studio.
It is. I know they are small, but
it's so sad because there could be so much.
They can open their doors, but it's like I feel like they're not. I don't know. I don't want to make them sound like extremely bad because they're not extremely bad. I know that they're a small studio and they don't have all the time and resources. But I feel like if they gave us, or not gave us, but if they just open their doors for people who have experience in game development or digital design or anything like that to just come in and, I mean, frankly, honestly, they don't even have to pay me. I would literally go in there and create their dungeons for them. Even though they don't use Unreal and the Unity engine, I would work on their, 2-3 year old engine to create it. I would do it just because of how much I enjoy and love the game and want to see it progress. So I'm open to doing it, but I feel like they're not working on the things that need to be worked on. And they're doing giveaways on hamsters that you can buy for less than 5,000 Astral Diamonds in the auction house. Like that.
Yeah, I can see them try to do more with the community. Like actually, what do we actually want? But the problem here is that there are so many different opinions because then you will have people saying we need a wardrobe for our fashion.
Oh,
because that's something that we need. We need player housing. Really?
Yeah.
Like, do we need player housing more than, let's say, a new endgame dungeon or 2 new endgame dungeons or
Protector's Enclave is good enough for player housing for me. I'm fine with sitting in Protector's Enclave. They should. I mean, if they took like for everybody that logs onto the game, there should just be an automatic poll that pops up and it's like, what do you want more? And they should have a list of 5 different things: endgame dungeons, player housing, fashion, etc., etc. And whichever one has the most votes, the top 3, that's what they should introduce. Those should be the next 3 things that they introduce. And it has to be mandatory to take that poll so they get every single person's vote that actually logs onto the game. So I think that's a great way of getting...
Like, in order to, let's say, get the VIP key daily, you have to fill in the poll.
Yeah. Because everybody wants that key, right? Who doesn't want that free key? But you have to complete this poll. And if you don't complete the poll, then you can't get your key. And the poll is not only going to help them as developers know what they need to do to help improve the game, but it's also going to help everybody else know what's going to be coming next for the game. I think that would just help instead of doing things on the website, because not everybody visits the website, not everybody watches the streams, not everybody goes on Reddit, but everybody logs on to the game.
I don't think they will be as drastic as that, but they could certainly do a lot more with actually listening to the right people in the community, because there's a lot of weird people here, and a lot of people who will not say who will not really contribute anything meaningful, or have like completely wrong ideas, because
I mean, fashion's not a problem. It's just not now.
Yeah, there are way more important things. But we'll see. We'll see what they do, because we essentially only really get to see anything from a new module if they accidentally put it on preview, or if anybody data mines something, or if someone spoils something they shouldn't have. But other than that, we only get new information, like detailed information of a new module, once the dev blocks come out, like 1 or 2 months before a module. And to me, that's just them saying, okay, guys, we're working on 2 or 3 new dungeons. 2 or 3 new dungeons in the scale of Tomb of Dying Gods, or even better, or whatever. Just them saying, okay, we're working on it, would help a lot. They could certainly be more open about that. Like, don't give times. Like, don't say, okay, it will come out in 2 modules, or if it will come out in 2 weeks or a month or whatever.
Don't
say we're
give
working
time
on
frames.
it.
Because with times, then you get people anticipated, and then when you don't actually do that,
the month is over, and where's the dungeon? Whatever. And you get, people go wild if that happens. But they could just be more open about what they're currently working on, what system we can expect. Like, can we expect that we still like this game and we still want to play the game in half a year or a year or so? And I have high hopes, actually. I liked the stuff. I liked the modules since Thomas Foss fully took over. Like this, like M12 was a good one, I think. Compared
who was before him? I don't remember.
I don't know his name, but I think he was the one who gave us Elemental Evil, and has worked on the game since then. And I think Thomas Foss took over from. I might be wrong. I don't actually, not precisely, but
I mean, Thomas is a great guy. I mean,
he certainly is. I have high hopes for him, because the stuff he did now with M12 seemed to be worth it, and he seemed to have. He's at least the guy who's sitting there trying to answer questions, even if there's a lot he can't say about the game, because it's still in early development and everything, blah blah blah. But I think he's at least trying, and I just wanted it to be more. I want there to be much more interaction, direct developer interaction in the future, because I think the game needs it. Because I know some people who have lost hopes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've lost hope here and there. What do you think about developer streams, not community? Well, community developer streams, where the developers that are actually working on the game stream, what they're working on. They they basically show you what's on their screen as they're developing it, and then showing us the process of how things are. I think that could bring, more ideas and more things to get things working, right, instead of introducing broken content right off the bat.
Yeah. I don't think it has to be that extreme. Like, okay, you don't have to see the work in progress project, but they could certainly do streams where they just talk about what they're doing and how they're doing it. Essentially, develop a blog, but longer and in a half-hour stream form. Because the community streams are... I like Julia, and I like Stromslinger. I think they're amazing people. But the community streams were a joke, to be honest. They were essentially like a weekly recap or a news. Okay, which events will there be? Okay, 5 minutes on community feedback, 5 minutes on art. Then you have the breaks where they do a giveaway. Then you have 10 minutes in the beginning where it's setting up everything, technical difficulties. Okay, hi everyone, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that has to stop. Honestly.
And it becomes atrocious to watch it because there's too much nothing. And I just want them to be more open about their developing process. We don't have to see as their early
we don't have to
concepts
see
and everything,
everything.
but they can show us more. Like, they can certainly do more. And we'll see.
I mean, even that time when they, I don't know what module it was. It could have been 11 or 10, but they had a list of like I remember when Thomas and
Oh yeah, that stream. That
they
the
had like a
state of the
packet
game
of
stream. Yes.
questions, and they only answered like 3 or 4 questions out of the entire packet.
Yeah. That
And I
was
was
kind of
like, "What?"
disappointing. Well,
And then I got banned in that stream. I remember I was
you
actually trying
did?
to ask questions about, I was trying to ask questions about dungeons and broken things, and I got banned in the stream.
Ah.
I think I might actually still have the screenshot. If I have the screenshot, if I remember where the screenshot is, or if they have the VOD video of it, I'll actually put a video or a little clip of it up on the screen right now for you guys to see. But it's when that happened, I was like, they either think I'm annoying, or they don't want to answer the questions, or they're not developing anything for the game. Or they just, I mean, if they don't want to answer the question, then they could have just told me that they don't want to answer the question. They don't have to put me on timeout.
I think they in that scenario they didn't want to answer questions from the stream itself because they already had like questions collected preemptively.
Yeah, but they only answered like 4 or 5 of those questions on
Yeah.
the big packet that was like 5 pages.
Yeah.
Or it could have been just a question a page, honestly, just written in big bold font.
I think he said like that he could not answer those because he doesn't. Yeah, well, it was too early to comment on those way too often, and this is it's like a double-edged sword because on the one hand you don't want to give players too much expectation because if you tell them about a system or something that's quite early in development and it might drastically change or never see the day of light, then you make players upset because they feel entitled to this because you said it would happen. But on the other hand, not saying anything really other than we're working on it or that it might happen in the future and now I can't say anything really, that's also a bad thing. So
it's like when they mentioned the new PvP pit zones, like 1v1s, 2v2s, and they would have like new maps and everything. I was under the impression that was coming in 12B or mod 12, and here we are, mod 12, mod 12B, and there's nothing for that. So I understand what you're saying about the double-edged sword because I'm like 100% sure that they mentioned it was coming very soon in one of these modules.
They had it in internal testing that you could duel in the Stronghold map, and he said that they would maybe implement at some point. And the way he said it was suggesting that it was much further into development, like it was working already on on their server, but. We don't know. Maybe it's already working on a private server for them, like on their own development realm, but they just didn't have the time to implement it, or whatever the reason is. I just hope they're more open about them, about their developing process. And there's also a state of the game stream soon, right? Like
I
have
was
more info about that.
I was. Here we are on Saturday, the 16th, the second week of December, one more day. And the only stream that we had recently was the charity stream, which let's
well,
let's
yeah,
not even,
it was
let's
just
not even
gameplay.
talk about that.
It was like I think they specifically said it was not any news about the game in general. It was just Julia playing the game.
Yeah,
which is fine. It was not an official stream anyway, so
there should be one this month at least. I mean, the last actual community state of the game stream that we had was way back in the beginning of the year. I mean, even if they don't, I mean, I know that it's like the holiday time, Christmas, people are traveling, all that stuff. So maybe we might not get one. Maybe we might get one on Tuesday the 19th or Wednesday the 20th, or we could get one next year, like right off the bat before before Mod 12B launches on consoles. Which
I
what is
expect
that, like,
I
9th,
expect a
maybe?
state of like a big state of the game stream with Thomas Foss too, like not joining Julia in early January, because
It should be long. I want a long state of the
yeah,
game
and they
stream.
should answer some questions for real
But you
this
know, a lot of
time.
people are going to be in there for giveaways and whatnot. Most people
Screw the
only watch them.
giveaways. Just do the giveaways in like community contests or whatever, or do the in community streams. But the state of the game stream, we just want to get some questions answered, because there
Yeah,
will be people not watching it live. There will be people watching it on VOD, and you don't want to watch them do the giveaway.
yeah. You want questions. You want
Yeah,
answers to these deep questions.
yeah. To when will the wardrobe come out?
I need a fashion tab. I need
Yeah.
a fashion tab. Oh man. But I think we're gonna close it out here for you guys. What did we talk about? We talked about the monk. We talked about story. We talked about what's coming next. What could possibly be coming next according to the story, 5th edition. Schultz, Dragonbait, artists. We actually didn't talk about the Peaks of Flame, which is actually right next to Omu. That could be the next zone, actually. What do you think about that? Before we actually close out of here.
After Omo, I don't know.
No, but like, isn't Omu is like,
Omo is a city.
it's either like,
Omo
yeah,
is a
yeah, but it's
city
like
ruin.
right next to the Peaks of Flame. It's like right there. Because the Peaks of Flame are actually in the Neverwinter. Like, if you go to the Neverwinter website, the Peaks of Flame volcanoes are right there on the website.
Yeah,
And the Lost City of Omu is right there too, on the same picture.
Yeah,
So it's like
we
they're
will see
teasing
them
us
in
multiple things.
I don't think they will do that. I think we will see them in the skybox behind the city of Omo, like in the distance. But I don't think we will touch that, because Lost City of Omo is big enough for one map, and they could bring out a second map, but I don't think it would be that.
So Mod 13, Lost City of Omu, Mod 13B, Peaks of Flame.
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on
And
how long they
then-
want to stay in Schult.
I mean, shit, I'm down to stay in Shoal as long as I get a flying diamond. I know it's not happening, you guys. I know it's happening. Okay, I know. Just let me dream at least. Damn, I want my flying mounts. The Griffin has wings. Why can't I fly with the Griffin? Damn. Too bad the dodo bird, the axe beak, can't fly. But anyways, you guys, I want to thank you all so much for coming by, checking out the stream, or the VOD, the video, the replay. I'm losing it here, you guys. I'm losing. It's been a long day. I have no internet where I am. I'm actually using my phone as a hotspot because there is a statewide outage of internet in Arizona. For those of you guys that don't know where I am, I'm in Arizona, but there's a statewide outage using Cox. So there's no internet. I'm using my phone as a hotspot. So it sucks. But I want to thank you all so much for stopping by, watching the video. Make sure you guys head over to Jay's channel, YouTube channel, subscribe to him, check out his videos. He does awesome videos. I don't even know what to call them, actually. What do you call your videos?
I don't even know either. I just say machinima.
Machinima replays or machinima.
In-game engine footage. Whatever.
That's too long.
I don't know.
Be
it's not really
machinima
montages either. It's just
in-game footage. The check out Jay's MIG GIF, MIGF. Machinima in-game footage.
Oh no.
But anyways, you guys, thank you guys for coming by, watching the video, and we'll see you guys on the next stream.
Should we before we close, should we talk about what we would like to talk about next time? Like we didn't.
Oh yeah. If you
guys
guys have any suggestions, though, if you guys have any suggestions about what we should talk about next time, let us know. And if you guys have any suggestions on who we should have on next time, let us know too. But I want to talk about the Bard next time.
Oh yeah, I think
about the monk.
That's a must.
I want to talk about the Bard. I also want to talk about. I have this idea on how. I mean, I know I already talked about Valindra, but I have an idea on how Valindra and the King of Spines dinosaur could be introduced in Mod 13. So I want to talk to you guys about that as well. So I got Valindra, King of Spines, and the Bard that I want to talk about. And if you guys have any suggestions,
depending on how late we do the third podcast, we could already have some news about Mod 13.
That's true. That is very true, because what is it? January is when 12B, and they usually give us developer blocks like a couple months in advance. Yeah. Ooh, this is going to be a really interesting year, you guys. This is going to be a really interesting year. I'm excited. Oh my god, I hope I see Belindra again.
Oh, me too.
I'm just hyped for that.
She's
That's just
in the D&D adventure. We have, like, it's
if they
possible.
don't.
It's possible we will see her again because she's in Omo.
She is, but you know, she just please don't disappoint. Don't disappoint. You don't have to give us a Serac Mod13, but you can at least give us Belindra. You can at least do that. I would be happy for it, and Jay would love it too. I'm sure a lot of people would love it, but a lot of people would hate it. But she's in there. She's in the story. She's you have to encounter her in order to progress through the story, so it only makes sense. Who knows? Who knows? But you have anything else to say?
No, I'm fine.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by, checking out the stream. Make sure you guys head over to Jay's channel, subscribe to him, check out his MIG gifts, and
please no, please no.
And yeah, so we'll talk to you guys next time.
Cut.
I cut. The MIG gifts. I'm gonna hashtag that. The hashtag MIG gifts.
Please no.